My most popular piece of content has 400k views, and it's on one of these 17 bench press tips that allowed me to actually get my bench press from 225 pounds bench press, so like 2 plates, to all the way 315 bench press in only 6 months. This video in your lifetime will get you at least 75 pounds added to your bench press. That's my promise. So I'm going to talk about surface level tips, intermediate tips, and then also deep advanced tips. Advanced enough to get you friggin' strong enough to break a little 2-gram chalkboard piece. So lock the in and watch this, or stay stuck like I was for an entire year at 225 bench press or whatever you are at, because honestly bro, 225 bench press is so achievable, and if you're not benching 225 at the very least, come on bro, you could be benching 315 in 6 months from now. Like, I'm just saying. The first surface level bench press tip that we are going to cover is actually probably one of the most important, and actually the reason why most guys are set back. You see, it is to bulk. Be a big guy. You see, one of my friends, both of us, we had the goal of getting to the 315 bench press. He was at a 265 pound bench press, while I was at a 235 pound bench press. This guy only needed to go up 50 pounds. I needed to go closer to like freaking like 90 pounds or something. I was actually, like 235, whatever. I needed to go up like 80, 90 pounds, whatever, off the top of my head, because I'm pretty stupid. We both had the goal to actually get this 315 bench press before we graduated high school. And the thing was, I got to the 315 bench press, it felt really freaking good, and he actually didn't end up getting there because he was afraid to get fat when he was bulking, because he didn't actually want to bulk, because he didn't want to freaking get fat. But the truth is, if you are doing the things that are actually down here in the advanced category, you won't actually put on as much fat. The thing is, he didn't realize this, and so he was trying to stay at the same weight. But the truth is, this is the reason why this is the first tip on this list. Bulking is so fundamental. Your body weight, being a big guy, is so fundamental to your bench press strength. And so if you are a bigger guy, if you are bulking, you are going to be able to get your bench press higher way faster. By the way, I benched 315 for the first time when I was 200 pounds exactly, when I was 17. Frequency, the first time I actually broke out of my plateau. You see, I told you I had been stuck at 225 for one entire year. Can you freaking believe that? 225 for one entire year. I had been stuck there, and I actually broke out of my plateau for 2 main reasons. This is the first main reason. I actually increased my frequency. Meaning, I did not only bench 1 time a week because I was doing like a bro split. I only trained like chest once a week, only bench 1 time a week. And so, I increased my frequency from 1 time per week to actually twice a week. And in that month, because I was also training scientifically and also doing the other thing that I'll mention, I ended up increasing my bench press 25 pounds my first month of actually trying really hard to get my bench press higher. By the time I got to 315, I had been doing it 3 times per week, by the way. So if you want to get faster progress, you sometimes need to do more. Now, do not convince this, or do not confuse this, better said, with doing junk volume. Junk volume is actually not the method, because basically what you want to do is you actually want to manage volume, and that could be like the freaking 18th tip on this thing. But managing volume, sometimes if you're doing too much, you're not actually letting the adaptation catch up. And that's actually part of the other thing that I'm going to tell you soon. Freaking soon. Pause bench. So, when you are actually bench pressing, a lot of guys, they like go down, like barely even freaking go up, and then like they just try to go really, really fast. The thing is, like, sure, you're getting your reps in, maybe it's good for your ego, but if you're trying to get your strength higher, if you're trying to freaking gain 100 pounds in 7 months like I did, then you actually need to humble yourself a little bit, and you need to have like less of an ego. And like, as a man, you might be like, oh no, my ego, my freaking ego, my precious ego. Literally humble yourself and you'll make more gains. So what does that mean? That means going down, bench press, and holding it for like literally a second, just letting it slightly touch your chest, but not like resting, and then going up as fast as you can. Like literally like down, controlled, and then as fast as you can up, and make sure it's full range of motion. Guys, so many people get actually wrapped up in this spot where they're under the bench press and they actually lose strength because they're grabbing the bar freaking like this. Like, you see that arc? They're grabbing the bar while they're not actually in line to have all the optimal strength correlated to the actual bench press. So these are the kinds of guys that will need a lift off typically when they're benching. Truth is, if you have your eyes under the bar, directly under the bar, so like if you're under the bench press under the bar, and then you like look, bench press, freaking ceiling. You don't understand what I mean. I'm trying to explain this, best I can. If your eyes are directly under the bar and then the freaking ceiling is right over that, then you will be able to grab the bench press much better and you won't necessarily need a lift off. I always refuse lift offs, and then you'll be able to go down and then do your freaking pause bench and then you just go explosive up. Number 5, bench at the squat rack. If your physiology allows it, if you are at the position or where your body actually allows it, if you go to the squat rack, I exclusively bench at the squat rack. This is because it is safer, because the safeties are like perfectly set for me. Basically, I bench at the squat rack. When I go to the squat rack, literally, if I fail and I'm benching, literally, it touches my chest, but then I can roll it up to my neck, and because the safeties are perfect at the squat rack for me, it doesn't actually hit my neck. And so now I'm perfect, and I can just friggin' shimmy out like I'm a snail or something. If you don't want to actually bench at the squat rack, then that is a horrible thing to do. Never fail and put it on your neck, because that is a terrible situation to be in. You literally could get very hurt. And if that happens, I wouldn't honestly recommend putting on the clips on the sides, so that if you do fail and you don't have good safeties, don't put the clips on the sides, because if you put the clips on the sides, then if you tilt it, the weights can't fall off. And sometimes if you're bench pressing like heavy weight and you might fail, you want to actually let the weight fall off. So don't put the clip on the actual bar if you are heavyweight and you don't have safeties. But I always will say bench at the freaking squat rack. It's literally the best place to bench. 6, form. This is where the freaking 400k video is from. Break the bar. If you are under the bar, put your hands like this, kind of tilt them down so your thumbs are kind of like down from your perspective, and then kind of like starting from your pinky, start going down kind of like this motion, and then break. If you break this motion, if you start breaking the bar, this motion, you're going to feel so much more tension around your body correlated, and that will actually give you more strength for your lift. Just make sure, and I didn't mention this in the 400k view video, just make sure that when you break the bar, you have your shoulders in and then your elbows in and your shoulders retracted. If you don't do that, you could actually increase your injury risk. So make sure, break the bar. Actually, you have your shoulders like close to your body and your elbows close to your body and your shoulders back, and then you should be able to have so much more tension from breaking the bar. That motion right there, you see that motion? That motion right there will allow you to have so much more strength correlated into your bench press, and that alone might even increase your bench press 10 pounds by itself. Not to mention the freaking decreased injury risk also. Use your lats for stability and strength. You see your back over here, I'll freaking like show like a video of like my lats. If you have a big back, you might actually have a big bench. The two are like correlated slightly, but it's because your lats give you stability when you're on the bench press. If you're able to actually freaking do all your things, break the bar, like do your pause bench, but if you're not stable, you're gonna lose way more strength actually trying to stay stable, even just like your neuromuscular output. So like the amount of muscle fibers you're recruiting and force output, your brain will have this mental block literally for your survival, so that you make sure that you don't drop the weight or fall down while you're carrying this weight because your back is not set. If you have a big back, if you really take your back days seriously and train your back effectively to get a freaking demon back, I'll make a video about that, then you will be able to have a bigger bench because you have bigger stability. Leg drive. A lot of guys ask me, Daniel, how do you actually do leg drive? Like they have a problem with doing leg drive. Simplest way I could explain it, and the way that will actually get you understanding what leg drive is push down, but then also push forwards. So with your feet, kind of like imagine you're pushing down but then forward. That will allow you to use the actual force from your legs and kind of correlate it towards your upper body. Just make sure that you don't lift off your ass from the bench, because at least in my eyes, the bench press doesn't count as much. Also make sure you have good grip on your shoes if you're really pushing it. Like you shouldn't slip, but if you're really pushing the leg drive, maybe you'll slip. So just make sure you're pushing down and forwards and keep your cheeks on the bench. Single tricep pushdowns and close grip bench. Typically when you see a guy fail on the bench press, they fail while they're halfway. If you're failing down here, then that's your chest and you're not like strong enough with your chest. But if you're failing over here halfway, you were so freaking close, but you couldn't make the lockout, it's because your triceps weren't actually strong enough. Like you see these freaking triceps, 315 triceps. If you don't have big triceps, you don't have strong triceps, then you won't actually be able to get the lockout and the full 1 rep max test. You won't be able to actually get your true 1 rep max. Luckily, Growing your triceps is actually pretty easy if you grow them correctly. Now there's many ways to grow your triceps, but I will say for bench press, this exploded my bench press. This was the thing, single tricep push downs. This was the thing that allowed me to actually get my bench press much higher. Basically, I just went to the cables, I grabbed the cable machine, whatever, the handle, and then I just did these. You know what I mean? That's how you grow your freaking tricep. Other thing is, a lot of programming does not actually account for your closed grip bench. I would recommend, if you want to have a really big bench over your lifetime, do wide grip. I like to put my index fingers on the little rings. You should still be doing close grip sometimes, and this is where a lot of people's programming lacks, and also why my programming is so good. I actually incorporate closed grip bench with my actual bench press wide grip. Putting the two together in your programming when you're actually benching, like literally even maybe doing them in the same session, will allow your triceps to get through that sticking point and you to actually be able to lock out. And by the way, if you're really serious about all of this, join my community, link in description. You can get in touch with me. I can actually hook you up with the exact programs that I give my clients and that I personally use that also incorporate all of these things, and putting all of these tips together with those programs will explode your bench. And so if this is something that's really important to you, like on a scale of 1 to 10, this is at a 9 or a 10, join my community, link in description, and then shoot me a message, I'll shoot you a message, and then we can get you on track. Your biceps stabilize your bench press. If you have big biceps, then you will be able to stabilize your bench press much more. Now, a lot of programming actually accounts for biceps using hammer curls, because the hammer curls actually exercise the specific head of the bicep that is actually helps you stabilize the bench press much more. Now, I would say if you grow any bigger biceps, like even not even doing hammer curls, literally just doing bicep curls, any variation, like even Bayesian curls, then they will actually allow your bench press to be much more stable. And then, like we said, with the same thing with the back and using your lats for stability, this stabilizing movement to stabilizing strength from the biceps, the lats, will allow you to correlate and actually generate way more strength. Deload. Remember when I said that frequency and one other thing helped me the most? Well, that was deload. Basically, it's 1 week of the month where you go slightly lower in weight than you actually would. Whereas, like, what the heck, this is really freaking easy. The thing is that if you do not do deload, you never let the adaptation catch up. I'll show you what that looks like. So here's the stimulus, right? But then once you exercise, your actual muscle is not as strong as it used to be until it recovers stronger. The issue is, if you always are pushing hard, if you're always pushing as hard as possible, you get into this horrible stage where you are stuck plateaued for one freaking year, like I was, where you are stuck doing the same thing over and over again, and you do not get better because you are not letting the adaptation right over here to catch up to your training. So your programming should have a deload kind of scheduled within the actual weekly progression. The way my programs, the ones that I use, the way they're structured, they actually get harder throughout the weeks, and then they have on the actual final week, the 4th week, they have it like a lot easier, and then the adaptation catches up, and then you do the 1 rep max. So if you wanted to integrate that with your programming, literally just have 1 week before you actually do your 1 rep max test, 1 week before that, then I would just go slightly lower in weight, still do your bench press, just slightly lower in weight so you can still recruit more muscle fibers, kind of like how the pause bench actually lets you or helps you do. Still do pause bench, still recruit more muscle fibers, still bench, just do like much lighter weight, and then you should be able to get the adaptation catching up from all your training. That's will help you a bunch. Just deload. Deload and frequency helped me the most when I first was starting to increase my bench press, so just keep that in mind. Eat lots the day before. If you do not eat lots the day before, you won't feel as much tension. This is something that nobody else will tell you on the internet, because this is something that my friends and I kind of figured out by ourselves. Basically what happened was, on the days that we ate a lot of ground beef, like a lot of rice, we were like freaking really full. So full that we actually, and this kind of goes with bulking, but this is more intermediate because of the way you actually do it. If you eat so much that you kind of feel kind of like almost even bloated the next day, and you feel kind of like you don't really want to eat, but like, you know, you just feel like there's more tension in your body, you will actually have more tension, or at least for us, this is what it felt like. I'm sure that there's like some scientific evidence somewhere. We had more tension in our entire body. We felt more tension when we were actually bench pressing, and we were able to actually get our bench presses higher. Now he's at like a 300 bench press. He's still not at 315, but I'm praying for him getting to 315 because it felt so damn freaking good. And so the last little thing I'll also mention for eating like a lot that actually gets you like almost like feeling the tension is you can actually get a lot more carbs in, and carbs will actually help you fuel your bench press. Not necessarily good if you experience brain fog from carbs, but that's besides the point. I would say have rice instead of potatoes because rice can let you have more carbohydrates and they can help you bulk a lot more. Watch my bulking video, by the way. Isometric holds. Basically what that is, aside from the fancy wording, is picking up a weight that might not even be your 1 rep max, like literally a little bit higher than your 1 rep max, maybe even 15, 20 pounds, maybe even 30 pounds if you've done this before, higher than your 1 rep max. Like, Daniel, what the heck? I can't do that weight. How am I going to do that? Just literally pick it up, hold it for 15 to 30 seconds. Just hold it and then literally put it back. Those, not only can they help you with your actual strength gains, they actually help you. It's kind of like this weird effect where if you actually do your sets after, and I wouldn't fully always recommend this, just it is something that you can experiment with. If you do your sets after, you feel like you're stronger because you just held a way heavier weight. And so because you've held that way heavier weight, you're able to recruit more muscle fibers and you just feel stronger even though you're actually might not even be stronger. And so isometric holds help a lot of people. Not only it helps them gain with like mass, but it also helps them gain that extra strength advantage. I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not do this so much, the isometric holds, but I did have friends who did, that got to a 300-pound bench press. And so if you want to try like a bunch of things, if you're really locked in on this, you can try that. I just personally never did. 12, tank tops. You might actually be doing this already, but it actually also gives you a competitive advantage. The thing is, if you're benching in like a t-shirt like I like to do, because I don't know why, I don't always like to wear tank tops other than like contrary to popular belief, like with the people around in my circle. I just actually wear tank tops for extra sunlight because sunlight's also good for testosterone, like vitamin D and also growth hormone. But that's like over here with all like the hormonal optimization, naturally of course. Tank tops, if you have more exposed skin on the back, you can actually have more, I guess, friction, if you were to put it in a way. More friction that allows you not to move, which also gives you more stability and also allows you to have a little bit more tension. And so if you have some of your back slightly exposed, you'll be able to make sure you don't slip at all on the bench press, and then you'll feel a little bit better. It's kind of just one of those things that some people like to have rather than maybe almost slipping when they're having the bench press weight on them. So tank tops allow more friction because there's more skin contact on the bench. Then we have my bread and butter, the deep actual advanced knowledge that will help you increase your bench press and overall actual mass and aesthetics so much faster and help you keep the fat off while you're actually bulking. This is so little understood on the internet, and there's so much science to back it up, and I don't understand why more people don't talk about this. Natural hormonal optimization, naturally optimizing your testosterone, will allow you to facilitate more of your muscle growth and more of your neuromuscular adaptation to actually output more force. Helps you get more aesthetic, helps you not put on as much fat while putting on more muscle. I don't understand why more people don't talk about this. And so basically, okay, you might be thinking, okay, testosterone. Okay, we need to optimize testosterone. How do we do that? Well, I have like a video where you can optimize your testosterone over here, but I'll also tell you a couple tips now. There's a couple things you can do, and I'll mention some of them like over here on these. Just make sure you're having a really like main 80% tasks. Like if you're gonna do only a couple things, these are the things. Make sure you have a good diet with whole foods and you're getting enough sleep and you're actually going outside and speaking to people. Speaking to women will increase your testosterone slightly. There are multiple studies that demonstrate actually freaking salivary testosterone, like the testosterone in your saliva increases if you talk to more women. But the truth is you should just be talking to everybody. Antisocial behaviors are actually associated with lower testosterone levels. And so if you want to actually be your best version of yourself, you would probably have good relationships with, men and women, just have a bunch of friends and talk to a lot of people. This kind of like hoodie up, like people ain't shit, like I'm literally on my villain arc, like that's freaking cringe, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. The best version of you, the highest testosterone version of you actually is being the most social and having the most connections, literally not because it's a nuisance, even though if you have poor mental health it might feel like a nuisance. the best version of you has good social connections. He goes outside, gets freaking sunlight, optimizes his testosterone because he's just doing the things that a healthy person would do, because he eats healthy, he gets good sleep, he gets sunlight, and he freaking talks to people. Those are the main 80% tasks if you wanted to optimize your testosterone. Now, there's so much more that goes into it. Like, you might say, Daniel, testosterone is not all that matters. You can have your total testosterone and that actually won't even influence your muscle growth, because your total testosterone isn't the thing that fully matters. It's your free testosterone. Now, I always get that comment when I talk about testosterone. And then it's funny because they I don't know if it's like to sound smarter, but like it's kind of like they've taken the next step, but they forgot to take the next step after that. The thing is, what's important to understand is that, yeah, testosterone is not the whole part of the picture. You also have to account for things like SHBG, and then also this next thing over here. But first, I'll talk about SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin. Essentially, sex hormone binding globulin binds to your free testosterone and makes it less bioavailable, so that your androgen receptors don't accept as much testosterone. Your androgen receptors are the acceptors of the male androgens, such as testosterone, dihydrotestosterone, these other androgen derivatives, they're called. How can you lower your SHBG and actually have more free test? There's two main ways that I always tell people. There's to have and this goes kind of with bulking. You can lower your SHBG by having a diet, and this sounds crazy, but like, believe me, because I've freaking done it. Have a protein heavy diet. I'm talking greater than 1 gram per pound of body weight. And if it helps you, I like to think of it when you're bulking as 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight that you desire. The body weight that you desire. So like, let's say I want to be freaking 220 pounds. I weigh 200 pounds. I'm going to have 220 grams of protein, not because I am there yet, but because I am desiring that, and it will lower my SHBG. Other thing is, and I've never done this personally, but SHBG actually goes up the older you get, and so if you're a little bit older, this will benefit you. Supplement with boron. There have been multiple studies that have said if you supplement with boron, or supplementation of boron can actually decrease SHBG and then lead to you having more free test. But how do you optimize your androgen receptors, and how do you accept more testosterone? You increase your testosterone affinity. There's many ways, and I talk about this a lot in my community, but I'll just tell you a couple things. The main go-to one that I always will talk about is pay attention to the stuff you put on your body. If you're rubbing like a soap that has like freaking phthalates, or if it even has like sunscreens, a lot of sunscreens have oxybenzones, benzophenones. A lot of these chemicals are actually not only what are called estrogenics that can interfere with estrogen signaling and actual testosterone levels, because as a man, the physiology of women's different, by the way. As a man, you get most of your estrogen from your testosterone, disregarding the actual estrogen that you get from your gut. And by the way, I'm hoping I'm not losing you over here, but this is the advanced section, and so this is why I'm speaking a little bit more advanced. Because you get most of your estrogen from your testosterone as a man, if you have more estrogen mimicking chemicals that are introduced to your body by the things you touch, usually things like plastics and other like forever chemicals like PFAS, also some herbicides and pesticides, things like that. If you have more of those things introduced into your body, you will have more estrogenic compounds saying to your body that you have too much estrogen, decrease your testosterone, and then therefore you will have the symptom of having pretty shit gains and having that skinny fat physique with a low bench press. So avoid products that have these forever chemicals, that have these estrogenic compounds. Like if you have a sunscreen, switch to a mineral-based sunscreen rather than a chemical-based sunscreen. A mineral-based sunscreen like zinc oxide or titanium dioxide based sunscreen. Those, while they will look a little bit funnier on your face, you'll know that you're not putting cancer on your face and you're putting actual sunscreen. Competition. Testosterone exists for competition. Biologically, that is the reason why testosterone exists. And so if you have friends that are actually trying to get a higher bench press and they're trying to apply these tips, if you have friends like in your dream, in your highest ambitions, you want to have accomplished all of your dreams and also be with your friends with all of them accomplishing their dreams, right? And so this is the beauty of competition. Competition is not a negative thing. Competition is something you do with your friends because both of you are running. You see the other guy running and like he's your friend, so you're like, okay, come on, let's do this faster. Like, you're running faster, I'm gonna run freaking faster. Careful, there's a freaking rock over there, and so freaking run faster. This is why I make these videos, because I want to help people. I want to help my friends, my community, the people who support me, and I want to give you these things. And so not only more people can bench freaking 315, the bar is raised for humanity, and we can start pushing ourselves and actually see what we're really capable of. You know how 315 is starting to become like the norm, and like a lot of people are like, what the heck, how do I freaking get to 315? Eventually 405 is just going to be the norm. I really think that that's how it's going to be. 405 is just going to be the freaking norm. The last thing I'll say with competition is don't compare yourself to people in the gym. Typically they are weak. This goes for your squat, your bench press, even your deadlift, even though I don't deadlift. Don't compare yourself to the people who go to the gym. Compare yourself to guys like me, who will talk about 315 bench press being a normal thing, a normal milestone that every person should actually be able to get to. So that will actually even push you to get like a 275 plus bench press. These guys online, while this can be a negative thing, where if you don't make it a negative thing, where you see guys online and you're thinking, oh, I'm just like, I can't ever make it there. Like, literally, I am on your side. And so I'm telling you, don't think like that, because it really sounds really lame. It sounds like a little animal. And we want to actually be powerful, and we want to actually do things that are congruent with our goals. And us thinking like, oh no, I can't actually do it, that is not congruent with our goals. And so I'm always going to tell you, believe that you can actually do it, and you will believe you can do it once you see other people doing it. And so believe that you can do it. Don't compare yourself to other people who are mediocre. Compare yourself to the very best, and you will become the very best, because it is baseline. Listen to Gaga. Listen to Lady Gaga if you want to get a big as bench press. And I'm not actually, like, this is like half a joke, but everybody who has a big bench press, I swear to God, they listen to Lady Gaga. Like, literally, because they enjoy it. I don't even know. At least my friends do. And so what do I recommend? I mean, you can listen to a lot of different kinds of music, but what do I recommend? I recommend you listen to freaking Judas. I recommend you freaking listen to Paparazzi, and just let it go and like fuel you up. And perhaps if you want to freaking make this tip different because you're pissed that I said listen to music to get you pumped up, well, have caffeine. Caffeine is the greatest performance enhancement, I guess, literally drug. Literally have caffeine and you'll feel much, much better. A lot of guys, like, you know, they have their caffeine different ways, but if you listen to music, that gets you pumped up while also having caffeine on a stage where you're actually trying to get more like bench press numbers, higher bench press numbers. Freaking, I don't know, pop open one of those white monsters or have a cup of coffee. Do what you want. And by the way, white monster, it's not like actually fully terrible for your hormonal health. I personally don't drink it very much. Listen to Gaga. Look at pictures that remind you of what you actually want or what actually got away. Now, there's like forbidden pre-workouts where you can freaking look at the girl that got away and it can maybe bother you, can hurt your heart. But part of this can actually be part of the actual healing process. And so if you've just gone through a breakup, you can actually leverage the gains. Like, personally, me, like when I've gone through stuff like that, I've had like zero motivation, like at all, but I've still been able to actually conjure the discipline to actually show up. But what I will tell you is because I was actually pushing away a lot of that stuff and I didn't actually want to deal with it. Truth is, it can actually be very therapeutic, and a lot of guys are actually good at this. Actually, a lot of people thought that when I was getting my bench press numbers higher, my squat numbers higher, they thought that it was probably because like I had been going through like a breakup. The truth is, I had never, like, I was really not that motivated anymore. I was really like down in the dumps. But for a lot of guys, they can leverage this pain. They can take that trauma and actually dissolve that trauma a lot by turning it, by transforming it, by transmuting it into a healthy, positive thing that's actually congruent with their goals. And so if you want to use the forbidden pre-workout, that'll help you get the freaking bench press PR. Like, I remember a couple times, like, I was going to go for a bench press PR and I'd look at a picture of the girl that got away, and then I would hit the PR, and then did I get it because I saw the picture? Who knows? But you can also leverage the kinds of pictures which are more positive, things that you actually want to have in your life. Like, I don't know, you can have a picture of like that kind of house you want, which kind of symbolizes the kind of house you want to live in, but also the family you want to have. You inspiring your son because he sees you looking like a freaking superhuman, benching numbers, like being able to move freaking heavy weight that he never would have thought was possible. Imagine him. We just talked about careful who you compare yourself to. Imagine who your son will compare himself to. Your son will compare himself to you, the freaking superhuman, the freaking dad that freaking is a super soldier. I'm telling you, all of us can get to this point where we inspire our sons, we inspire our daughters, and we get our family actually living the lives that are actually much more healthy for them. Just imagine your family will be way more likely to actually get more progress and be more successful if they see you being successful in every aspect of your life. But we're just talking about the bench press. Your family will be more healthy. You will prolong the lives of your family and your son and your daughter. You will prolong their lives because they're going to know what optimum health looks like and how easy it can be once you actually get good at it. So, to recap, so that like you make sure to apply at least just one or two of these things and they will increase your bench press. Just go back to this video if you need to. I recommend, like, obviously this is good for watch time for me on YouTube, because honestly one of my dreams is, and like one of my ambitions is to get like 100k subscriber channel and actually benefit a lot of people and not be, I don't know, like I want to be able to do this full time is what I'm saying. So I recommend for you and for me that you apply just one or two of these tips, all of these like 17, 18, whatever, all of these tips that I've said, apply them. And then once you want to, I'll put the chapters in the video so that you can actually like apply them and then go back and then watch the next chapter. I would say just go back and apply one or two of these every single time you apply a new one. So, bulk, be a big guy. Frequency, increase your frequency, you will have a bigger bench. Just make sure to not overdo it. Pause bench, I'm talking 1, 2, and then explosive up. Eyes, make sure your eyes are in line with the bar when you're kind of not sitting, when you're freaking lying under it. Bench at the squat rack, you'll have way more stability and probably have a lot more confidence when it comes to your bench press because you know nothing can go wrong. Form, break the bar, keep your elbows in, keep your shoulders rolled back. Have your lats pretty strong. Make sure you take back day seriously even when when your main goal is to get a bigger bench press. Leg drive, push down and push forwards. If you're at the sticking point where you're getting kind of here, but then you actually fail and you don't lock out, do single tricep push downs and integrate closed grip bench to your programming. Facilitate your biceps. You can do hammer curls or just any sort of bicep variation. Big biceps equals big bench. Deload. Deload and frequency are most important. Just have 1 week right before your bench press where you're still doing weight, but you're doing much less weight and it feels easier. Eat a lot, so much that it feels like you almost have like tension on the next day when you're actually bench pressing. That for some reason makes you feel stronger. Isometric holds. Just grab a weight that's like 10, 15 pounds higher, and it can be like higher if you're like more used to this. Literally just hold it for 15 to 30 seconds and then put it back. If you have more skin showing, I'm not talking go naked to the gym, but if you have more skin showing like you're wearing a tank top, you'll have more, I guess, friction on your back and you will feel a little bit more stable on the bench press. Naturally optimizing your testosterone is the method. I'm telling you, do not listen to the people that tell you, oh, you can't increase your testosterone naturally. Oh, you have to take steroids. You have to blast steroids to get a 315 bench press. You don't need to do that because you can do it naturally, especially if you're healthier. And even if you have genetics that limit you, literally, you need all the help you can get in that case. And so might as well get every advantage that you can get and optimize your testosterone naturally. I have so many other videos about how to optimize your testosterone naturally. If you have any questions, put them in the description, or not in the description, the comments of this video, and I will answer your questions, and I can even make a video about your questions if your questions are freaking good enough. Androgen receptors, optimize your androgen receptors by limiting the chemical exposure. Make sure you become a more competitive man and do not compare yourself to people who are mediocre, who are not even the people that you want to be like. Listen to Gaga. Make sure you have good music and good caffeine to pump you up. And if you really need to, you can do the forbidden pre-workout. I bench 315 natural After only a year and a half of lifting, I set the goal of in January 2025. I said this year I'm going to bench press 315 pounds, and I got to 325 in the 7 months. I actually benched 315 in the 6 months. You can do this. If you apply some of these tips, you will be able to get your bench press like 75 pounds and higher, because I literally got mine 100 pounds and I'm literally in a cutting season and I've been able to maintain my strength. Apply these tips and you will be able to get to your 315 bench press. Actual effort and research. So much effort and research that I am telling you, I just want you, please, if this gave you any value, please share this with a friend that's trying to get their bench press higher. Please like the video, please comment on the video, do your thing to actually help me out with this algorithm and actually help me do this full time, because I want to provide so much value to you. And in my head, providing value is just like giving. Just giving and giving and giving. I can't go wrong if I'm just giving and giving and giving. So join my free community in the description below. I'll send you a message asking you what your goals are. We can connect. We can talk more about it. You can hop on group calls with me weekly. And then also I can help you one-on-one if you want to do those things and you want to get your bench press higher. Basically, I specialize in getting men to a 275 plus bench press while actually getting aesthetic while they're doing so. There it is. Alright, like the video. See you in the next one.